the hallway.
Has she been? Did she sleep in the hotel?
Oh yeah.
Oh.
That's Ella.
Wow. Zeydey.
Let's go see Ella's room.
Wow, it's so nice.
Yes.
That's just for you? Wow, very nice. Are we gonna sleep, Daddy and Mommy in one, and Ella in one?
Wow. Ella, you're gonna have a big bed.
Let's go see Zeydey and Bubbie's bed.
Very good.
Oh, here's your bathroom. Let's see your bathroom.
Oh.
How are you?
Yeah, this is great. We could live here. Whoops, sorry, honey.
Yeah, we can. Okay.
And then you just leave.
Oh, and there is a little fridge. Perfect. And a little microwave.
Come on, Mommy.
Okay, I'm coming.
Can you leave your door
Well,
open?
we need to,
Quesadilla.
oh, it's cool in their room. Yeah. Wow. This is Let's see the slide, Ella. Crab walking. They're being a crab. Okay, nice and slow.
Ella, hold her in. Hold her in. Whoa.
Just nice and slow. He likes that little fountain. I know. You can probably go in both ways. Yeah, maybe. It's all over there too.
Oh, yeah.
I know. It is scary. Slow. Good.
Yeah. Ella, hi.
Where's James? One call night. You look too right. You like those James?
He likes Bill's jams. Favorite ones. Just walk over. You want applesauce? Extra stuff.
What's the big one? Oh, and the check. That's so cute. That's lovely. Oh, the baby's looking. I think the mommy could have the mommy gives. Fun. Wow. Oh, that one dove into the water. Deep down. Inside you can see them swimming. Oh, beautiful, I think. Look at how happy they are. Wow, you can go right up those steps.
Say hi. Look at he's looking at you. Hi.
Wow.
Oh my god.
What are you doing? Oh, that one's yawning.
Feathers wear out once a year, they molt.
More footprints. You can follow them all the way inside. Follow them to the door. I think they're out there. Ella, I'm following them inside.
Yeah, let's go inside.
Whoa.
See more penguins.
Okay, just wait. Come in with Zeydey.
so we have to do blood tests.
Yeah. Isn't that neat?
Put your hands on this side of the glass, yeah, just because they
Wow.
can be curious.
Oh, of course. Thank you. Ella, you can even see them under the water.
These are the king?
Those are kings. Isn't this? We've got all those
We're touching their heads.
Unicorns.
Yeah. Horns. Horns.
The baby one has them. A little baby.
Oh,
They're just growing the baby horns. Oh, nice
Bless you.
relaxed mountain goat.
Ella's allergic to mountain goats.
look at them. One of them has quite a... Yay! You have to keep crawling.
Good job, Ella.
Good one. Okay, nice try. So sleepy. Ah, resting again.
We've got so many bear books too. And gives them a scarf. We'll have to read that book when we get home about the bear and Baba Brina. She goes on.
Let's look. Oh, look, they're all three together. Look, sweetie. Look what's right here. What? She won't look.
They're playing.
Ella, you don't want to see bears?
They're playing hide and seek.
She doesn't want to. They're playing. The black one's rolling, and then the two on top are touching it.
Go hide.
And they're sniffing in the breeze.
Well, tell it. They're all... Oh, their eyes are the cougars.
I don't really know either. They're kind of like easily.
Look at his tongue. He has a big tongue.
Owen and the Z.
The jagged edges around their spots, sort of like leaves. That has to do with the reticulated pattern. Our fourth giraffe is on the far left for us. That's Imara. She is also a Maasai giraffe. She came to us last year, around June, to be with our herd as well. She's a 5-year-old female. On to our hippos, who are at least 1 out of 2 is in the pool here. So I'll just start by a brief introduction into our hippos, starting of course with Sparky. Sparky's still up on the platform. She's born in 1987 at the Toronto Zoo. So much like a lot of Calgarians, she is originally from Ontario. We're all in the splash zone here. Sorry guys. As I said, Sparky is originally from Toronto. She moved out here when she was about 1.5 years old, and she's been out here ever since. She just had her 30th birthday this year, and she is grandmother to this guy in front. This is Lobie, front and center, giving you guys a really good view of his teeth when he opens his mouth, his feet when he puts them up on the glass. He is our 10-year-old male, almost 11. His birthday is on Halloween, so pretty easy birthday for us to remember. And as I said, he is the grandson to our Sparky. Now they have, we're getting wet out here today. Wow. Ashley's got a good arm. It's an interactive show. I bet you guys didn't realize you would be part of the water show here today. You are in the splash zone if you're anywhere near the bleachers today. It's a good interaction, though. It's a good shot. The hippo water is very warm, at least, so that pool is kept pretty nice and warm for them. Now, as I was saying, they have gotten along quite well since Bubbie came out to join his grandmother about 6 or 7 years ago now. He came to us from the Granby Zoo where he was born out in Quebec. Hippos, of course, are very social in the wild. In the wild, you would generally have one dominant male, some females, and of course some subordinate or juvenile males as well. He needs to mark his territory, so just in case another hippo happens to walk through the Savannah building, they will know that this is his territory and that is his Sparky. So very important things to communicate, just in case we have another hippo wandering through the building at any point. They will know that right away. Now, as for these guys, they do, of course, spend about 16 hours of their day in the water. They are primarily nocturnal, which means that they come out of the water at night to graze, usually walking up to 10 kilometers in the night, trimming down the grass in the savannah, making sure that it's a nice, even level. These guys would be great to rent out for golf course maintenance. They're fantastic at trimming the grass down to a nice, even level, and, of course, constantly fertilizing, right? So they would be really great for that sort of thing. If you've ever been to Africa, you may notice around some of the hippo pools, the grasses are trimmed down to a nice level from these guys, as treats for training and things like that. As I said, hippos do spend the majority of their day in the water, but even though they spend so much time in the water, they're actually to a life in the water. So if you look at those tiny little ears, when Bubbie comes up to the surface, he's going to spin them around in a circle to get the water out. They're able to seal up their nostrils nice and tight, so it's up to the top, they can take a breath and sink back down without even waking up. So they're very well adapted to a life in the water. Now, of course, part of your admission to the zoo today does go towards
Blue and orange, yellow.
It's a lot. Hi, sweetheart.
See that turtle?
That is a cool lizard chameleon. Yeah, me neither.
It's like iridescent, kind of.
Sorry.
I don't know, kind of shiny.
Wow.
side.
Good
Oh.
job, Mama. You have
He's
a
watching.
Until really, until their milk spot fades, and then their troop will start enforcing things because then they recognize that they're old enough to understand appropriate communication. Because gorillas are really picky about how they communicate with each other. So, for example, gorillas really don't like eye contact. So when we're here, it's really important that we actually don't. Maybe if they are staring at someone else, they know that it's not aggressive.
20 minutes or so, I'm just going to be hanging out here and I'm just going to be chatting about our gorilla troop here at the Calgary Zoo. This program technically starts at 2:30 and is called Stories in the Rainforest, but it's more of a less formal program where we're just going to chat about different things that are going on here, so feel free to come and go, feel free to move around, you don't have to sit here in March. And she was born here at the Calgary Zoo. She is Kyoja's first baby, and she's done really, really well. It's been wonderful for us to see. They've also gotten a little bit of help. So the lovely lady who's sitting front and center there, this is Dossie. Now I'm just going to ask that, yeah, you're sitting really lovely, nice and to her side there, and she'll appreciate that because being front and center, making eye contact can be a little bit scary. So just turning your shoulder to her is really respectful, and that's what she's doing to you just by not presenting sort of that straight on. Dossie's really easy to pick out because she's our biggest gorilla. Now, if she's turned her back, that's a sign of respect. So she's not upset or anything, but sitting with your back, the gorilla is respectful. So she's inviting you to hang out and put your back to hers, and that's okay. So if you'd like to, you're welcome to sit there with your back to her. Dossie's really easy to pick out because she has a bright red mohawk. These girls are Western lowland gorillas, and Western lowland gorillas do tend to have a reddish crest. Stress of the first year of motherhood. I don't know if anyone can relate to losing your hair due to motherhood, but I'm sure I've heard it happens. And it is common throughout different kinds of animals. The other two ladies that are in this exhibit right now are also a mother-daughter pair. Up on the tree there, playing with the ball or a sort of tire-shaped object is Yewande. Yewande is Kimani's half-sister, so she is also a baby of Kakinga. And her mom is down here on the ground. This is Zuri, and Zuri is 20 years old. So for the next little bit, and they really liked her. The little bit of a challenge is when they tried to reintroduce her back to her mom didn't really recognize her anymore. So her mom actually ended up rejecting her. So she continued to be hand-reared. She is a hand-raised gorilla. Now, part of the challenge with hand-raising is making sure that gorillas learn appropriate gorilla communication. And it's really hard to teach if you're a person, because person communication and gorilla communication are not the same thing. Where they just bounce up and down. And that's the kind of thing she was doing. And all of a sudden her fire hose went twang, and it bounced up and down, and she got thrown off of it onto the ground. And she sat there, and I watched her, and she looked up. She was at the other end of the rope, sitting on the ground was Yewande, grabbing the end of the fire hose and sending a big ripple through it, and just having the time of her life watching Kimani be confused and try to figure out what was going on. So sisters will do things. We can see Kakinga is also giving them time away from each other. So we really noticed in the last year that there were times when they craved time away from each other. And so giving them that option is part of what has made them be successful even without their silverback gorilla. So you might be wondering, okay, well, what happens from here? Because an all-female troop, eventually we'd like to have a male. So our girls are part of something called the Species Survival Plan. And as gorillas, we actually are part of a cell phone recycling program. And cell phones all contain a mineral that's mined in mountain gorilla habitat. So if we as humans reduce the amount of cell phones we're consuming by recycling them into more cell phone production, we actually reduce the amount of mining going on over in mountain gorilla habitat. So we accept old cell phones, they don't have to work. We accept them here at the zoo in this building over by the other window or in guest relations. So if you have any questions, again, my name's Lauren, and I'm going to hang out for about the next 15 minutes or so.